everybody, my name's Johnny Ifergan and I'm from Mexico City. So I did not start Niteglow. My younger brother started Niteglow. He had Niteglow coffee in Los Angeles. And we're both musicians, touring a lot. He fell in love with single origin coffee. I fell in love with, craft beer and working with local farmers. And so when, the time was right, a little bit after COVID, he was like, hey, I was like, yo, I want to start this, I really want to go back to just classic clean beers, really focus on the ingredients, just like the coffee. He's like, well, funny enough, I actually trademarked Niteglow as a counterpart to Niteglow. Do you want to do a beer brand together? And that was my brother Tom and my cousin Philippe. And they just had a lot of faith in what I was doing and the beers I was brewing. And so flash forward years later, here we are in New York City and making beer and, selling coffee. Niteglow and Niteglow, you can see it in two different ways. You can see it as daytime coffee drinking. You can see it as nighttime, right? Bar, beer, cocktails. You can also see it as our personalities. My brother is definitely more of a Niteglow, kind of very, like I said earlier, intellectual, minded personality, a little more introverted, but really focused and intentional. Niteglow, definitely a little bit more outgoing, vibrant, and energetic. So that kind of also falls in line. But the biggest thing that distinguishes both and brings them together is the love for brewing things with clarity and with purpose and intention, and working with farmers directly as much as we can. So Niteglow works with farmers all over the world, and then we buy the green lots, the coffees, and we roast them in Ipswich, Massachusetts. And with Niteglow, we work with local farmers all over New York State and a little bit in New England and Vermont. And yeah, we make beers with New York grown barley and hops. So. I am really excited about going back to brewing beers. I like all the styles. I really believe that there is a time and place for all kinds of styles, but I do really appreciate the craft and the technical aspect of making beer that is drinkable, like drinkability, has good flavor, and is like more on the lower ABV spectrum. I myself am kind of a lightweight, to be honest with you. So I, appreciate drinking beers that, like I said, have really good flavor, distinct flavor that sets them apart. But there's also you could drink a few and you're not knocked out, and you can enjoy your day and night. So that's the kind of beers that we really like to make here and believe it or not, those are the hardest beers to make. It's kind of counterintuitive. I think growing up in craft beer, I always thought, bourbon barrel aged stouts and all that was like the hardest beers to make. And while some of that is true, I mean, there is a craft to that. I definitely learned that lager is incredibly difficult because it's just naked. There's nothing to hide. There's not a lot of alcohol in most cases, and there's really not much going on except for maybe one barley and one hop, and it's all just technical. And when we opened up a, single origin coffee shop and the intention that they put in the focus into showcasing what these farmers have grown and what they've roasted, there's so much attention to how they pull a shot of espresso, how they, focus on the pour over and build the drinks. And we make everything from scratch. So it just makes sense that we would make beers that also practice that sort of technical focus. And they're really hard to make, but they're, at the end of the day, it's just drinkable beer, right? And so people sometimes think, oh, well, that's got to be easy, but it's actually the hardest thing. And then think about making that beer here and then making it in another place and making it taste the same. So that's, you got to have some love and respect for that. So. I love this question. I am a musician number one, and I have always approached, and I've also worked in hospitality my whole life, in restaurants, you know, washing dishes, busing, just literally everything. And so I've always had this lens of the culinary background and the hospitality, but also like from a more of like a musical perspective. So I always thought that, you know, the drummer and the bass player in the band, in the group, is like the soul of the beer. It's the malt and the water. People never talk about water enough. And, you know, where you're from, the water matters, right? It's in literally like everything we drink, and yet it's just the least often talked about. So to me, that's the backbone. And then it's, you know, the singer is the yeast. It's the voice. So I always look at that like, what am I trying to say with the yeast? And what am I trying to express? And then, you know, you have the guitar, you have the keys, you have the violin, you have all these other cool auxiliary instruments. And to me, that's like the hops. That's like the spices. That's like the stuff that kind of like the flair, right? So that's how I kind of approach it in a nutshell. But then to be honest with you, I'm also just like inspired by just smelling and trying things. And like, you know, I get samples from all the farmers. So, you know, we have grain here, we have hops from New York farmers, and just going to those places to visit. So for example, Andrea and Christian, they have Valley Malt. It's in Holyoke, Massachusetts. And so, you know, even though they're in Massachusetts, it's only 2.5 hours away, and they use all New York grown ingredients, or mostly, I shouldn't say that, it's like 90%. So just going to them and just seeing their process and smelling everything, it really inspires you and what you're gonna make. There's also Ted and Patty. They're at New York Craft Malt in Batavia, and they also do some incredible barley malt, adjuncts. They flake corn that's grown in Batavia, and you're just like, you know, put your hands through it and you smell it, and it's like you're a kid, you know, you're like, you know, I don't know, you're like running through the fields and you can taste the maize, you know, and it just has so much flavor. And to me, that is inspiring. And that's when I watch all those like Chef's Table and all these fancy shows, I'm always thinking like, dang, they're always going to the farmer's market. They're always getting the food as close as possible to them. And I feel like that's been lost a lot in the beer industry, because a lot of times we try so hard to emulate what's being made overseas, and we kind of just always try to bring the ingredients from those places. And while I think there's merit in that, especially if it's like an exotic ingredient that you can only get in a certain place. I know Garrett Oliver is an incredible brewer and is like a huge inspiration as well from Brooklyn Brewery. He's doing a lot of that with Fonio in Africa, and like, so I think there's a place for that. But when it's just like, you know, barley from Germany, which is amazing, but it's also, if everybody's using the same barley, it's all gonna start to kind of taste the same. So I really feel like using what you have around you can sometimes also tell a different story, even if that inspiration still comes from Germany. You know, I think that's great. So that's kind of in a nutshell what inspires us and how we, you know, create our recipes. And we're just, again, brewing for clarity. We're brewing for ultimate like balance of flavors, and yeah, treating it like a song. You know, what would Louis Armstrong do? Well, you know, what would all these you know, famous musicians do? So there you go. I think two ways we stand out. I think one is that we are primarily a single origin coffee shop, and that's our big driving factor here. That's what draws people in. And then there's this sort of like, what are they making in the back? You know, what is those tanks in the back? And they see someone like, you know, washing tanks. They're like, what are you doing back? You know, and they start to realize, oh, this is a brewery. And then they start to realize we're using New York grown barley and hops, and it starts to make sense. And then they're like, wait, you're pouring the beer out of these Lucre faucets? Like, so all the beers are poured on these Czech faucets. So even if it's an IPA, a sour, a dark lager, and the foam is like this wet, creamy foam. It literally looks like milk. And you drink it really smooth, and it just like amplifies flavor. So I think there's something really special about that aspect of it. You know, it's literally from brewing to the glass. It's from grain to glass, I guess. So that's really something that distinguishes us. I think there's a few other breweries also that inspired us when we came here, like Strong Rope, Endless Life, They were working with only New York ingredients, even from the get-go, when it was, you know, still kind of on its way, and there was still a lot of work to be done. So I have a lot of respect for them and what they've done to help cultivate that knowledge and grow and make it the industry that it is now too, from a brewer's perspective. So, but yeah, I think just like them, we're just trying to showcase New York, what grows here, what's happening here, and then the coffee is obviously a big plays into that a lot. So that helps. You know, nowadays it's almost everything, I would say. You know, Bushwick, I came here from Chicago, you know, and Bushwick really accepted us from day one. Warm welcome. People would be walking by while I was, you know, trying to like clean up the space, get it all together, because it was very DIY. And everybody was just excited, like, what are you guys doing here? What's happening? You know, I was at another coffee shop down the street, Loveless, you know, good friends of ours. And someone saw me wearing like a Niteglow hat or something. They're like, no way, is Niteglow coming here? We're like, yes. They're like, yes. So, you know, it's just always like, everybody was just so friendly and welcoming. And I think that's such an important thing, you know. The liquid is important, right? The marketing, the branding, your product, the liquid's got to taste good, right? But it's the space that you create. It's hard to, you can't force it. It has to feel organic. It just has to feel like, you know, yes, our space is very clean, modern, you know, bright, colorful. But when you walk in, you know, our hope is that you feel welcome and you feel cozy and, you know, like you can just hang and have some good drinks and really like meet people and build community here. So we've done a lot of events. You know, there's, you know, I think last year we did a lot of events with like a really cool sort of like a Shakespeare play in a bar kind of group where they're like one rehearsal and then we do literally a play, a Shakespeare play in your bar in Niteglow. And it was super fun. People would just hang out throughout the whole space and like they're putting on a show. And so we've done stuff like that. We've had a lot of musicians play like a lot of cool stripped down sets here. We had Sleigh Glow next door in the garage, so we had like bands playing. We've had pop-ups, food pop-ups from all over the city, and you know, it's great. I mean, so we've had a lot of, you know, like I said, and all the owners around here, all the businesses support each other. We all look out for each other. So yeah, we love it here. So I do think community is so important, and that's why I love that we get to stay as small as we are, and you know, even if we can grow, we could still maintain like, you know, that purpose and that focus in those neighborhoods as well. Like, so part of it's like, even if we were to open up in East Village or West Village, which we are, so it'd be really cool. Like I told you guys earlier, like how do you connect those two neighborhoods together? So a lot of people in East Village, West Village never come to Bushwick and vice versa. So we were thinking about doing night rides and doing really fun day runs, like cool stuff, you know, get some wheels together and just ride out with us and, you know, just, yeah, make people feel welcome, even if they've never been somewhere and they've never tried something. And I think beer is, you know, one of those things that people feel intimidated by. I mean, I'm white passing as hell, right? But you know, so I had a little bit, I'm definitely privileged, right? But I know a lot of people that were born in other countries weren't, you know, women too. So like, it's, you know, making them feel welcome and like getting them excited about it, you know, because they want to know what's going on too, and they're excited about it. And they have other ideas to put into this, you know, a lot of it's been done. It's kind of like, you know, when you're like, man, I'm just so tired of the same boy rock bands singing and playing about the same stuff, you know, like I'm ready for other people to, yeah, exactly, come in and like add their, you know, energy and their creativity. So yeah, and that's a beautiful thing, and I'm seeing it all over. It's happening, you know. I get goosebumps thinking about it, so I'm stoked about it. I can't wait to see what we all come up with. So, oh my God, I had someone ask me the same question, literally, like half hour ago. I think there might be, yeah, what's up? I was like, they're all my babies. I don't know, you know, what mood are you in? What are you feeling? You know, what's the weather like? You know, we do everything based on flavor. So all our beers have a, taste like, kind of like, these are the flavors to expect. It's just because nowadays we think about drinking stuff based on flavor, right? Or eating stuff based on what it's going to taste like. So we approach things that way too. So, I always tell them, are you in the mood for something a little fruity? You want something a little like, more refreshing, more crisp? So all our beers are named after a lot of these kind of words. So, crisp is our Pilsner, right? Really dry, really crisp. Tart, tart, it's a little guava prickly pear sour. Dreamy, that's like a cream ale. It's really fluffy, it's nostalgic, it's kind of dreamy. You're thinking about, what maybe, people were drinking back in the day. So yeah, I don't know if that helps answer your question, but it's a hard question. I also always just ask people, like, what do you like to drink? Like, what beers do you like? What's strong, what draws you? And based on what they tell me, I can kind of get an idea. Even if it's like, oh, I really like stouts, and I'm like, okay, well, we don't have stouts here, but I've got a dark lager that's really rich, tastes like, chocolate, decadent, but it's still really light and refreshing, so there's ways to get people to where they want to go, I saw this question and I was like, even when I read it, I was like, I don't even know. Because there's a lot of influences that I have. I think I'll keep it short and simple. I would love to have a beer with Prince, because my band, we toured a lot. Our singer's from South Dakota, but we played Minneapolis a lot. And after, the unfortunate death, we actually went to Paisley Park and we saw like just the locks all over the fence and all that. And then I started really getting into Prince. And then like, there was a video that I watched, and I think it's just like, it's a celebration amongst friends, and it's like Prince playing guitar, Tom Petty, and a bunch of other people are like on stage. Do you guys remember this? I don't know if you remember it. But it's like, it's a very vivid, like, it's all these like talented musicians on stage, and they're all taking turns playing. And then Prince, yes, it was a tribute. And then Prince starts playing and doing a solo, and it goes on for like 25, 30 minutes, and it doesn't stop. And when you think he's about to stop, he just goes, and just Tom Petty's face is just like, oh my God, like this guy. And I just want to have a beer with Prince and be like, yo, what were you thinking? Like, what? Why? Because I would never do that myself. I wouldn't have the guts. But I admire that. I think I admire people that have the guts to do that. So, yeah, I'm too humble to do that. I just hope that they're like, dang, I got to come back to so many drinks I got to try. Not just beer, but coffee and matcha and everything else. And I hope they're like, no, this is a cool spot. Like, I can take friends here that, maybe I like beer and maybe they like matcha or they like cocktails, but there's something for everybody. So everybody feels cool. Like everybody can have something and hang out. And so I hope that is an experience that people get. And also that, hey, beer is fun. Like there's like the foamy pours, the milk pours, which we're going to do later, by the way. Like, yeah, it's fun. It's yeah, of course, it's all technical and we're doing a lot of crazy stuff here, and same thing with the coffee, but at the end of the day, it's just fun, right? And it's meant to be fun. So that's what I hope that they take from it. It's just like, hey, it's a cool spot, in the hood, and bring some friends over. So. This is hard. You're killing me here. I know. Dang. I mean, everybody's so nice. Everybody's super cool, And like I said, it's a lot of it's really hard because it depends on why. Like the answer there has to be like, what is it about that brewery that you love so much? I struggle with this because I really like everybody. I think everybody has their thing going on, and it's really, really cool. Some breweries I haven't even visited yet, but I hear so many cool things. I'm gonna say Brooklyn Brewery for sure, because Garrett Oliver is OG, like mad respect. And that's why I think I remember coming to New York now it's gonna be 13 years ago with my wife. It was Derek Jeter's last year playing. She's a Yankees fan, I'm so sorry. and it was like he got rained out, so we couldn't play. And so we ended up going to Brooklyn Brewery, and I just remember just seeing like on the walls like how beer is made, and it just really inspired me. You know, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, and just seeing that other minorities were making beer, and just really doing some really cool stuff. So yeah, I Brooklyn Brewery for sure, for those reasons. Oh man. I have to shout out, I'm gonna do like a little bit of don't kill me here, but I gotta shout out the breweries making beer with New York ingredients, so Strong Rope and Endless Life. Jeff and Jason and their whole team has been so welcoming and inspiring, because they've really welcomed me with open arms. They've really shown me, you know, what's possible here, and why not to give up, to keep going, keep trying with what's happening, and keep showing, not telling. I used to have a habit of talking about it all the time, and I realized, you know what, I'm not going to change anybody's mind. I just have to brew hopefully really good beer with these ingredients, and hopefully other people will notice. And that to me, that's show, not tell, right? Like, I went to film school, they tell you subtle subtext, right? Show, don't tell, you know? So that's why I really think that I have a lot of respect for them for that. And then the last one I have to say is purely because when I first came here, and it was the first brewery that I went to, and I sat down, it was noon, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm Johnny, and I'm here opening a brewery in Bushwick, like, what's up? It was Wild East. And I was there from noon until I think 2 or 3 in the morning. No joke. Lindsay, Brett, everybody there, like, were amazing. The best hospitality. Like, I drank so much good beer. I ate so much good food. You know, they kept bringing food, beer, and I just stayed and I hung out. And I was like, wow, like, this is New York. You know, this is amazing, you know. And it was just that sense of, like, someone, like the new kid on the block, feeling accepted. And you know, they didn't even know who I was. They didn't know what my beer was, you know. I could have been horrible, you know, but they just didn't care. They just really wanted to make me feel welcome. And so I think that's definitely been huge. And just a shout out to the whole brewing community in general, because like I said, there's too many breweries to list, but everybody's been so welcoming. And the guild especially has been great. People are just, you know, we're all hustling. It's New York City. It's really hard, but we all got each other's backs, and we're lucky to be close to KCBC, Eckhart, Grimm, Kato, you know, and we all help each other out. You know, we all focus on, you know, building community, talk about that, you know, doing events together, getting people to go visit each other, and yeah, of course. And I think that's, you know, you could say all these things, right? You know, I could go on. I could say other half, huge, you know, they really blew up the Haze game here in New York. I will never mess with that. I have a lot of respect for them in the test. So, you know, all those guys, great stuff. I think Eckhart falls in line with Wild East. Talea, I know a lot of people have their feelings about Talea. I really do respect that they've found a way to get more people drinking beer in Manhattan, which is a cocktail borough, you know? So I think that there's a lot that they're doing that's still keeping people excited about drinking beer. And so I do respect that. And the people that work there have been super amazing. And so, yeah, like, everybody has so much. Chris at Fifth Hammer, you know, you're talking about him. He's an incredible musician. He's doing stuff. Well, first and foremost, just I want to, you know, thank you. Muchas gracias, New York City, everybody in the community. You've been so welcome and amazing. And I'm just happy to be here, happy to be a part of this thing. So thank you for that. And, you know, we're here, you know, Niteglow, Dayglow, we're in Bushwick, 8 Wilson Ave. If you're ever gonna come by, we do both all day, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. So even if you're coming in on a flight at 8, well, I guess it's legally 8 a.m., come by, have a beer, have an espresso. And yeah, look out for, some new spots opening up, East Village, West Village. Follow us at Niteglow Beer, Niteglow, and then, at Niteglow Coffee. So, thank you and stay safe. Salud.